What a trip. These days we have these electronics. I can talk to you, show you my art. I've painted the planets and the signs of the zodiac. These are close-up shots of the plastic paint on the board. When I was a little kid, I heard about India. Nobody ever went there. Nobody had ever been there. When I was 20, I went, and so did a lot of other people. Airplanes and things have come a long ways. I became a Hindu. Being a genius, I studied all their scriptures and all the other ones in the world, read them all. And then read Rome's books and all the Oxford books on Celtic history and European history. And both my children got nearly killed. Had a kind of almost blind arranged marriage and joined the Hare Krishnas and kissed my wife for the first time in Berkeley on ancestral land without even knowing it. My great-great-grandfather founded Berkeley. Didn't know it at the time. Perhaps Mom never told us because she married a German. None of her siblings did. Pure Irish. Yeah, that could be a reason. I can't believe that when I was a little kid, Silicon Valley was all orchard, apple trees and stuff. We used to drive through it on the way to Santa Cruz, where my grandparents had a ranch. We used to go there every summer. And then when I was, a teenager, they invented the chip. And that valley turned into all solid buildings. And one of them was Steve Jobs' Apple. And later in life, when I needed a job, I got a job at a computer store without knowing anything. But I knew sales from being a Hare Krishna devotee. So I got the job. I met the Mac Plus 86 and the AT286 computer. Within 1 year, I was a self-employed programmer. Databases and accounting. My first client was BP Oil Visalia. I went on to do tons of accounting programs, and I wrote a really major one for newspapers all across the U.S. Most of the small newspapers across the U.S. bought it. That's how I bought my homes in Eugene in my late 20s. And then wrote a program for Yellow Pages, similar major program for Yellow Pages. And then one day in '93, opened Tom Hopkey's book on Vedic astrology. And my life changed forever, till now. From '93 till now, 14 years, half a Saturn cycle. Jyotish and programming it for the world made me kind of famous. They tell me I'm famous in India, whatever. Anyway, I can't believe that in my lifetime, these things were invented, and that I went to India, learned its culture completely, and know so much Sanskrit. And I was able to read the English books translated by Dr. B.D. Raman on their ancient astrology, and programmed it on PCs and Macs. And because of William Levesey, and his book Beneath the Vedic Sky, he put my CD on it. It went all over the world, and he and I spread Jyotish all over the world. So did a lot of other people, but that book had a really big effect the last couple decades, or decade rather. So, and then I can't believe that I found out, well, first I got depressed and was maldiagnosed and on lithium for years, and I painted all these paintings that I take photographs of these days and sell prints of. I was alone, lonely. I thought I had given a great gift to the world, this Vedic astrology research tool, and I thought we could prove determinism, but nobody bit. And I was sad and burnt out. And then, after 10 years of that, I found out that I am mildly autistic, and that explained it all. I can't believe that in my lifetime, nobody ever noticed that I was an Asperger's kid. It's hard being really smart. Everybody hates you for it. Kinda. They love you. They do. They love you. But then, having you around all the time, kind of hard because you keep exposing that you're better at everything than them. It kind of can't be helped. So you end up alone. Most geniuses end up alone. Yeah, way too high a percentage of them take their lives. What is called mental illness is sometimes mental advancement. And dealing with the ostracization that occurs from that. So I didn't want to be smart. I was born smart. When they passed out those math papers in the 3rd grade, I just looked at the stack of numbers and went, "Joop, that adds up to this." Even though there was like 3 numbers and they were all in the thousands, I just wrote the answer down. I could look at them and do it in my head. We were supposed to do long adding and stuff and long division, and I didn't have to. Kind of get stuff, lifelong. So easy that it's sometimes hard for people around me. When you always know them so much. It bugs them, And it bugs you. You get bored. Nobody talks on your level ever, I could handle talking about things people never think about. Stuff I think about, I start talking about it and they just roll their eyes. They can't believe I think about it. So stuff about God, space, distance, time, relativity, matter, soul, death. People are not comfortable with these things. And even having an adventurous spirit. Even trekking off to India when you're 19 with a guru and, Hare Krishna, it kind of blew my family's mind, to say the least. But I don't need these. Can't blame them. I can't blame my family at all. No way. In our country at that time, that was the weirdest thing you could do, was join the Hare Krishnas. That was like the weirdest thing a white kid from the Oakland Hills could do. But I was so religious, I so wanted to serve God. I so saw society's problems, and I so knew that we have to give our lives to solving them if we want to solve them. I can see that still today, with the Plastic Gyre formed in my lifetime, floating out in the middle of the Pacific Ocean, the size of Texas, a plastic island made out of our garbage, killing the ocean that feeds us oxygen, in my lifetime. And my grandma sat there in her chair when she was old, and she told me she saw the car get invented. She remembered horses and buggies. Berkeley was founded by my GG father 160 years ago. That's only 160 years ago. At that time, there was 250,000 American Indians living naturally on the land in California and only 10,000 white people. And now there's 30 million white people and 30 million others. 160 years. Okay, so I've lived 50 of that. And I've seen, all these electronics get invented. When I was a kid, the only electronics that existed were black and white TV, simple stereo systems, and really simple radios. That's it. Okay. Cell phones are like communicators. We saw them on Star Trek. We never thought they'd be invented. But the chip changed all that. It's just, the chip is just a bunch of photographs of huge circuits printed onto silica slivers that are stacked on top of each other in a little teeny stack. And that photograph lines up with the one underneath it, like as if it was a circuit made out of wires. And just with static electricity, they calculate and store data inside this silica chip. Now, silica is sand. It's just one of the most basic elements. It's what crystal is made out of. And Oh, wow. Basically, folks, there was myths that the Druids used to communicate with crystals, and factually nowadays that's what we're doing when we use these. We're communicating with crystals through these computers. But we're polluting the ocean. I'm not sure how we're going to turn this around. The commander of the U.S. Navy in the Pacific says it's hopeless, that no country has the resources or wants to do it to clean it up. It's killing the earth, killing us, killing animals, sea life. It's all there on the web. You can look it up. The Plastic Gyre sort of stands for our main ire, our main problem. We've become very advanced, created cool stuff, but we're killing our planet in the process, and you can't really say that that's a good thing, because that kills us. In my lifetime, I've watched us invent, buy, and use, and love all those things that I made this song and video with. Electronics and toys and gadgets, and I've watched people become dumber because their kids just play with them. I've watched a lot of bad things. But I've also seen the good, that people are learning a lot through the internet. When I went to India in 1980, nobody could talk to people in India. We could barely call there to plan our trips. Now you can send videos to friends in Bombay. I mean, there's no comparison. When I went there, you could not see a single pair of blue jeans in all of India. It's as if they were illegal. If you kissed on the street, you would be beaten by the local people. Even Indians, they did not kiss on the street. Now, the youth are walking around in jeans and doing everything Westerners do. Times change fast, folks. Julius Caesar conquered Europe and he thought he had it made. 300 years later, Rome was dead. America's been alive for a couple hundred years, and it's not doing so good. It's pretty dirty. It's pretty full of people. And they're not that happy. Their economics are going down, and they know kind of who's doing it, and they kind of know also that it's the world just equalizing, and smart ones here, like me, we just know that this country is like heaven compared to the third world. I've been to a lot of the third world. We got a long ways to go down to get to where they are. And I think we're meeting in the middle. And I don't mind that. I met nothing but love everywhere I went, all over the world. And although people say India's poor, I've been there 4 times. I've lived in the jungles of Bengal. Been near a Hindu-Muslim skirmish where people died. I've been there, folks, and basically those are people that hate India talking about India, and they are only talking about one thing. It's kind of like saying America is the Columbine school shooting. No, America's a lot more than that. So India has everything from the rich to the poor, and it's the largest democracy on earth. It's cool, and I saw happy people in the villages. People who had no shoes in their life, who farmed rice paddies, lived in mud huts, and I've lived with them. They had big smiles on their faces all the time as they walked around in their rags, doing their farming, and sitting at night with their families chanting around some little fire made out of cow dung. And with their very white teeth and their very black hair and brown eyes, they were smiling away a lot more than a lot of Westerners I know. So, no. I'm not afraid of equalizing with the world a bit for the sake of peace and love between all of us. Not at all. It's been hard being smart in my lifetime. I've done too much, burnt myself out. I spread a major science, taught myself about 10 of them. It's incredible what I've gotten done. And I got it all done mostly with the help of the Mac, which was made by a guy who's half Syrian and half white named Steve Jobs. And an Arab passing through America put a child in the womb of a white woman here, and he became Steve Jobs. And with Wozniak, they made the Apple and the Mac and the interface from Xerox and the mouse, and they brought it all together with PostScript from Warnock. And now all of us are talking all over the world, and revolutions are using this stuff, and everything's changing. Everything's changing. Since the late 70s, which came on the heels of the 60s, which was about young people saying no to what came before them. No to capitalism. No to exploitation of Vietnam. No to bombing innocent people. And no to your drug laws and you're trying to lord it over everyone with your particular cultural values. When this country's supposed to be for everybody, why isn't everybody's culture welcome? So I was there. People's Park, 68, lived there, Berkeley. One of the descendants, remember? So I've been around and watched this hippie thing turn into the 70s thing, turn into the 80s, 90s, 2000s thing. And here we are, connected. I helped make the good and the bad. I'm sure there's at least one plastic thing out in the gyre. It was something I bought. And there it floats, blocking oxygen, sunlight, the system God made. So I guess we all have to work on it to stop this consumer culture at the source. Don't make packaging. Change the way we do things. We have to. If we want to breathe. Bugs used to be about 100 times bigger than they are now on Earth, simply because there was more oxygen. I say, let's stop cutting down rainforests. Become vegetarians and vegans like me. You'll be healthier, you'll look better, smell better. You won't have rotting animal in your gut. Hey, all of you know rotting animal smells worse than rotting plant material, okay? You don't chase your yard away or bury it, but you sure as hell bury a dead deer. So, I'm on planet Earth with you right now. It's 2011, and we got the Plastic Gyre. We're more connected and enlightened, and hopefully more now. We love each other. I know I do. Because, you know, when I thought me and John Paul had the same birthday on May 18th, 1980, from 30,000 feet above the Pacific as I was coming home on my first trip as a Hare Krishna monk from India, age 20 on my birthday, May 18th. I thought about Pope John Paul and I looked out the window and I thought, wow, one day I'm going to be like him. And then right then, kaboom, up went Mount St. Helens before my eyes, like a nuclear bomb going up north as we were flying into San Francisco. And that mountain is in Oregon, way up north. But I could see it rising above the clouds, 30,000 feet, like some sort of Hiroshima, memory. Bad memory. But there it was, in sync with my thought. Ay, ay, ay. Life's a trip. In my lifetime, what I've seen, what lies ahead for all of us. I say, good thing we got the internet, because we really need to pull together to save our planet and ourselves for our kids and their kids. Personally, I think we reincarnate. So since we may be coming back, we might want to clean up our bedroom. And I can't say how much love and thanks I have for all the souls I've known in this life. Because they've all shaped me, and they've all been a part of the unified field to me. That's God to me. They are a part of the field that I see. That's God to me. And I am in their field, part of God to them. We're all connected, and we all go to the same place in the end. And we're all made of stardust, and every rock you see was once an asteroid. Came together as Earth. It'll come apart. Dust to dust. What matters is the people, the souls, which are also in animals. If Coco the gorilla can learn to sign and teach her child to sign without any help from humans, don't you think that's a sign of intelligent life? She had emotions, just like us. How can you kill a noble animal? And they range in size from anything you can see with a face, spiders, bugs, all the way up to whales. They're all our siblings. Don't kill them and eat them. I haven't had any meat, fish, or eggs for 30 years, and I'm fine. I'm healthy. All right? And I've done more than most people have done in 4 lifetimes. I pray for you people, and myself, and our Earth. And I love everyone. That's why I'm doing this. That's why I do what I do all my life. I've only tried to find the answers. Like some kind of Buddha Siddhartha. I just wanted to find the answers and share them. So that's what I'm doing. I'm sitting here at this microphone because as a kid I had a vision that I would be at a microphone when I was 50. Telling the world to come together in peace, in love, without sectarianism, without anybody being special or better, not a single capital letter. One for all and all together. I actually believe we can. If the intellectuals and religious leaders of every land join together on the internet and tell the people what's really going on, then the people can lead the politicians, and then we won't have to continually sing the war song. So long as the politicians are serving the world's hidden rich, life on Earth is going to continue to be an itch on her. She doesn't like it. You could say she's a naturalist. She wants us all to be simple and get back to the basics. We don't have to give up everything, dear electronics, but we gotta change before we kill our little living bubble, the only exoplanet we know of that's in the water flow zone distance from a star. The only planet we know of that can sustain life and allow souls to discover their full spiritual potential and go to eternal heaven. This is an egg inside Mother Goddess's womb. And it's getting ripe. We're getting ripe. So I'm not sure about anything, but I am sure that we need to love each other. That's it. in order to be happy, to have peace and no war, and no one ripping everybody off, we need to come together as one. Love everyone, included, including animals. Respect life. Respect sentient creatures. Thank you to life.